Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahabatihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yaumiddin. Allahumma lana ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma 'allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma. اللهم انزل علينا بحكمتك وانشر علينا برحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الكرام ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. In the previous week we have seen the topic regarding the globalization and the localization of the food production. So having touch on the globalization and the localization of the food production, this week we are going to change the scene of our subject, which is more concentrated into the topic of food consumption and health. So the food consumption and health is a very broad topic in the regard or in the realm of the food and society. As we already know that food is one of the very integral part of our life. The food that we eat give our body the information and material they need to function properly. So if we don't get the right information, our metabolic process suffer and our health will decline. So for example, if we get too much food or the food that give our body the wrong instruction, so we can become overweight, undernourished, and at risk for the development of disease and conditions such as arthritis, diabetes, or even heart disease. So in short, what we eat is central to our health. You need to consider that in the light of the Webster definition of medicine, it is the science and art of dealing with the maintenance of health and prevention, elevation, and cure of disease. So in the sense of the food and the society, food can also act as a medicine in which it can be used as a cure and to maintain, prevent, and treat disease. So now we are going to look into the food classification. As you can see in the slide, we have divided the food classification into several categories such as healthy food, junk food, and fast food. So as you already know that the most important food that we need is the healthy food. This is the most important source of dietary fiber, nutrient, as well as phytonutrient that are needed in order to have a well balanced and well functioning bodies. As you can see that in healthy food, we have several classifications such as the organic, vegetarian, and as well as low fat. And within those kind of classification, we usually have 4 type of food group, which is dairy and meat or fish. We have grains as well as fruit and vegetables. You need to know that the nutrient in food is the key enabler in our cell in order for our body to perform their necessary function. Nutrient, you can regard that nutrients are the nourishing substances in the food that are essential for the growth, development, and maintenance of body function. So essential meaning that if a nutrient is not present, the aspect of function and therefore human health will decline. So when nutrient intake does not regularly meet the nutrient need dictated by the cell activity, so the metabolic process will slow down or even stop. So that's why it is very important for anybody to have access to healthy food and not junk food and fast food. So when we look into those the importance of nutrient give our body the instruction about how to function. So in this sense, food can be seen as a source of information for the body. So when you think about the food in this way, when you think about the food as an instruction on how the body should function, it will give us a new view of nutrient that goes beyond the calorie or gram, good food or bad food. So this view leads us to focus on food we should include rather than food to exclude. So instead of viewing the food as the enemy, we can now look at the food as a way to create health and reduce disease by helping the body to maintain its function. So now, when we look into healthy food, we usually associated the healthy food with wholesome. With wholesome food or unprocessed food. Whereas when we look into junk food, it is pleasurable, but it is usually have low nutrient density. As you already know that when junk food is being processed, it is heavily processed, and the process inadvertently remove the nutrient, most of the nutrient inside of the food itself. So when you go to the supermarket, you can see that the supermarket is full of convenient packaged food that appeal to our taste bud, but you must have a compromise in our nutrient, because most of this food natural nutrients are removed in the refining process. So as a result, we need to get them as well. Then furthermore, the processed foods also, they have additive bahan tambahan yang digunakan untuk pelbagai function lah kan. So as we know that our standard diet relies heavily on processed food that include artificial color, additive, flavoring, and chemically altered fat and sweetener. So when you see that this additive and chemically altered substance may giving our body the wrong signal, so instead of the information, they need to function properly. So that's why junk food are most undesirable food, whereas the fast food can be depending on the type of fast food, the food itself can be healthy. It's just a matter of your preference when you are choosing the fast food itself. And moreover, the fast food, when we look into the context of food and society, the fast food restaurant is a manifestation of what we call we eat for convenience and not for pleasure. This is especially true in the current world where the pace of our society are increasingly rapidly. So we tend to eat for convenience and speed and not health and pleasure. So our fast food also remove us from the pleasure of creating and savoring a wonderful meal, and our fast pace often prevent us from connecting of a good and slow meal. But fast food itself can be good and healthy. It's just a matter of how you choose your fast food restaurant. So as a way to encourage Malaysian to have a healthy diet or healthy food, the Malaysian government has endorsed the Malaysian Food Guide or Malaysian Food Pyramid. So Malaysian Food Pyramid is a simple guide for individuals to vary their food intake according to the total daily food serving recommended. As you can see here, there are several classes of food that you can see in the food pyramid. So when you are looking into the food pyramid, you need to think in terms of balanced diet. So a balanced diet, as you know, contains the combination of food that will provide all the nutrients needed by our body. As you can see, even though there is several classes of food inside the Malaysian food pyramid, there is no single food that will provide us with all the nutrients needed. Therefore, the body needs many types of food in varying amount to maintain proper health. So as you can see here, the food pyramid consists of 4 levels that represent 5 food groups. So there is 4 levels and there is 5 food group, which is indicated beside each food group. So when you see on each food group, there is an indication of recommended number of serving per day for each group. So from the bottom to the top of the food pyramid, the size of each food group becomes smaller as a way to indicate that individuals should eat more of the food at the base of the pyramid and less of the food at the top of the pyramid. So as you can see that the bottom of the pyramid is consisting of grain or bread, noodles, etc., while the second level consists of vegetables and fruit, and the third level consists of milk and milk product, fish, poultry, or protein. And the highest top of the pyramid is looking into the fat.